There are right now 10 teams who are 0-2. Every team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, in which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. Like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Top of the hour power right here on the early line. It's how we do it on the SportsGrid Network. We set the table for your SportsGrid day, and we always enjoy it extra when it's a football Friday, just like it is. College football Saturday, big time. NFL action on Sunday, big time. Review what happened on Thursday night, and where do we go with the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills? Major League Baseball. We got handicaps coming up here in hour number 2 to put you on the right side. Pun intended. How about 2-0 the night before? 2-0 last night. Bye is paying those bills, and we hope to do that once again on a Friday. But it is a football Friday, Joe. Some of the easiest shows and content you can have makes our lives easier, and that's why we can keep that energy high on a Friday.
Yeah, and listen, we got a little more college football here tonight coming up, heading into what should be a monster Saturday, not to mention, of course, it's put up or shut up time for a lot of 0-2 teams this week on Sunday in the NFL.
And by the way, Stephen Ross yesterday, I think he had a quote that came out. It's like, look, I'm not looking to fire anybody at this point. We just want to see improvement and see what it has. There are no moral victories in the National Football League, but let's start right here in our 7-7, the hottest topics across the sports landscape. With the game last night, 31-21. It does feel like a moral victory where the coach is probably like, at least I'm going to be able to get back on this flight back to Miami because we did play tough. We stayed within the number. We had a chance to compete late. We just didn't get it done. But there's way too many we just didn't get it done over the past couple of years in the Mike McDaniel regime down there in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa, 146 yards passing. Yes, he threw 2 touchdowns, but threw a terrible interception to cost them the football game yet again. It just seems like, Joe, rinse and repeat. This team, this organization, this general manager, this head coach, this quarterback, it just isn't working. It's not.
No, it's not. But what's really not working with them, and you saw that clear as day yesterday, was the Dolphins' defense is atrocious. I mean, they are the worst in the league statistically. That's 3 straight games. I mean, they're averaging 32.3 points a game allowed. That's the highest in the NFL. Over 370 yards a game. That's 25th in the NFL. And it has everything to do with the pass defense. They can't defend the pass against any quarterback here. And, well, you're always playing from behind, Donnie. That's the problem with Miami, is that defense, they can't stop a nosebleed right now.
Yeah, it's all bad. And the expectations coming into the season, like we didn't look at the Dolphins and be like, well, they're 0-3. Like some people are like, yeah, they probably should be, and they're going to start to fire people. But as I talked about in hour number one, you shouldn't have been 0-2 through your first two games. You should have been at least 1-1 and be like, okay, yeah, we're going to lose the Buffalo in Buffalo. Because number one, we always lose the Buffalo in Buffalo, but we're on a short work week here. It's in Buffalo. They're a better football team. We'll see how it plays out. And I thought they played much better and also starting at the game going up 7-0. But the focus again, Josh Allen, the leader right now in the clubhouse for the odds market to win MVP, 22 of 28, ultra efficient, 213 yards, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 134.1. I like this Bills offense, and they don't have that A1A wideout to lean on or an unbelievably talented tight end at this point. But the one thing they're getting right now is they paid James Cook to be as electric as he was last year. He's been phenomenal, Joe, to start this year.
No, he has. Well worth the money.
Yeah.
Glad they got it done. Did it the right way. It's just they're all clicking. And, there's a lot of homegrown talent on this Bills team, a team that drafted a lot of the guys that are starting for them now. And it's really all starting to come together. Not so much for the Dolphins, who the entire team is from someplace else throughout their career, but not with the Bills. And you can see it with how it all is coming together, especially that running game with Cook.
Absolutely. We'll see where they go in the Dolphin season with the Buffalo Bills 3-0, hoping to get to a Super Bowl after all that heartbreak over the past couple years with Josh Allen. We'll see if it comes to fruition here. Tucker Kraft, hey, sometimes no news is good news. And what did happen on that knee? Went down, looked like it could have been catastrophic. Doesn't look like it, and a chance to play on Sunday. Packers dodged a bullet because Tucker Kraft looks like he's legit this year.
Yeah, he is, and he's he's a guy that that is one of the big targets there for Jordan Love here. 8 receptions, 140 yards. He leads the team there. He's got a couple of touchdowns. He is a key figure in that passing game. So he hasn't missed a game in a little over 2+ years here with the team. Let's hope he's able to play against the Browns this weekend.
Did miss a game. Brock Purdy looking to try to play this weekend. Limited practices are better than no practices at all. Joe, chances you think for Brock Purdy to return against the Arizona Cardinals this weekend?
Listen, if he can play, he'll play. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I don't think it's going to matter. Arizona's secondary is in complete disarray. All 3 starting quarterbacks are likely missing this game here. So whether it's Mac Jones or whether it's Purdy, they should be able to feast on that defense of Arizona this week.
Feasting on the officials. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing right now because why? The NFL can't figure out how to stop the tush push, so they're going to try to legislate it out of football. Just call it. If there's a false start, call it. If there's an offside, call it. We'll all be fine. The play will resume. You know what I need the Philadelphia Eagles to do, Joe, on Sunday? Open up, take the kickoff, get the ball at the 35-yard line. First play of the game, run a tush push for 2 or 3 yards just to set the tempo against the Los Angeles Rams. But the NFL, they want it out, and they're looking for every single way possible to throw this play out of the NFL. Because why, Joe? Only the Philadelphia Eagles are allowed to run it, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know what they're now. See, just by saying that now, there's going to be a flag out there somewhere along the lines here, Donnie. You just know it. And then the officials are going to do it. So illegal pre-snap motion or something. It's going to be, they're going to do it now that they've brought it to everyone's attention and they're telling the refs this. There is going to be some sort of flag here with the Eagles in this game against the Rams on the tush push.
Joe, I love a good cupcake. I really do. Like, I have sweet tooth here. You go by a bakery, get one of those delicious, fancy cupcakes, and you knock them down. That's when we like them. You know when we don't like cupcakes? On our college football schedules. The ACC is going to do something about that. Hey, guys, stop playing Samford 16 times a year. Play a better opponent. We'll be better off as a network and a conference, and our fans will appreciate that as opposed to coming out in early September for a meaningless football game. Good on the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that we're hoping to renegotiate our media deal at some particular point. Wouldn't it be great if we had games people actually wanted to watch in September instead? So, but yes, kudos to the ACC for realizing they left a lot of money out of the table by scheduling Sanford era against Miami. So yes, I'm with you, Donnie.
No more cupcakes. But you know what? Who deserves a cupcake with a couple candles on top of it? It's Clayton Kershaw saying, congratulations, brother, on a great career as one of the best left-handed pitchers we've ever seen in Major League Baseball history. Clayton Kershaw at the end of the season, he's going to hang it up. But, Joe, Dave Roberts is saying, I think there might be a spot on this postseason roster for old Kershaw. Not yet you're going to retire, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, no, he's got to go tonight. He's got one final postseason push here with the Dodgers, but truly one of the best, one of the top five, I believe, WAR. His numbers as a left-handed pitcher throughout history, he's top five, man. I mean, he has been doing it a very long time in an era, Donnie, also that encompasses a lot of home run ball and maybe some added help along the way. So kudos to him.
There you go. Maybe the ACC, Joe, should take over the WNBA schedule and say, hey, ladies, you'll be done by Labor Day, where people will watch and enjoy your sport, where in September, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the WNBA. Apparently, they played a couple games last night and the Fever won. Yep, congratulations. Nobody watched, and you move on. Can this season not get over soon enough, Joe? Come on. End it. You could do it.
They're going to have to do something here. Plus, not to mention, there was no Caitlin Clark. And the only people really interested in any of those games last night were the people that actually were holding a ticket, either on the Fever or the Dream last night.
Look, we love sports, but we love the NFL and college football so much in September because it's back in our lives. We don't care. Like, I love baseball. Half the time, I don't care about baseball when football is on, let alone caring about the WNBA at this point without Caitlin Clark. Madness ended on Labor Day. League signed everybody in America. Coach Bowden coming up next. Woohoo!
There are right now 10 teams who are 0-2. Every team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Like, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And like, some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
It's a Football Friday on the SportsGrid Network. It's the early line. The energy is always high. And sometimes when we reach out and say, we got to talk some college football, we have special guests that we make sure join us on the early line. It's not me, Donnie Rightside. I'm always here. It's not Joe Ranieri. But when we get some time to spend with Coach Terry Bowden on a Football Friday to talk college football, we never miss that beat. And we love it, Coach. Welcome into the program today.
Well, thank you. So great joining you all again on a great Friday morning going into the football weekend.
I love and Coach, it goes so fast. We were just talking about week 0 and week 1 and week 2, and here we are. Before you know it, we're going to be in the college football playoff. Let's not waste any time. Texas Tech and Utah. This line opened up as a slight favorite here towards Utah, but it's actually dropping back. We got threes at a lot of outlets right now, but a lot of points at 56.5. Texas Tech invades Utah, Coach. What are we looking at?
Yeah. Well, we got two teams that love to score, and so the over, at 51, 6.5. I love the over in this game. They haven't played anybody. Even the good teams they played aren't any good. Oregon State they played doesn't do very well, and so they've scored a lot of points. But the thing about like these teams, when they can score points, they do score points, and I think that's a huge factor. The key, though, in this game will come down to defense. Texas Tech has a better front, and I think they pull the victory off. I'm going with the dog on this one. I'm going with Texas Tech.
Woo!
Tough place to play there, too, boy. I'll have all the respect for them if they do, Coach. Auburn traveling, taking on Oklahoma in this one here. A lot of people all of a sudden, I think, starting to buy into OU now, Coach. Are you?
No. I can't do it now. I gotta say it. I've got some of my heart just pulls for Auburn from back in the day. But you know what, Judge? I really think Jackson Arnold is still carrying a bad rep from last year. I want to say again, they also fired their offensive coordinator mid-season. I don't know if it was the quarterback or the offensive coordinator. And if they knew so much about coordinators at quarterbacks, why did they let Gabriel go to Oregon? They should have kept him in the first place. They let him go. So anyway, John Mateer, the better of the two, but I think Auburn, when it comes down to it, will run the football better. They both play good defense, but I'm going with the dog again. I like Auburn. I like them with the points. I think about 6.5 right now. I like Auburn in the points.
Tigers going on the road. We'll see what they can do here. And also, Coach, we got a battle in the state of Florida. It's Florida versus Miami. Now, here's the key indicator where sometimes we always like to say you throw the records out, and you do. These two programs do not like each other. Florida, Florida State, Florida, Miami, all that whole triangle that gets into play. This line has been on the move. We're getting close to double digits now as a favorite for the Hurricanes in a total, Coach, of 51.5. What do you see in this game? Because Carson Beck has looked the part of exactly what they wanted from him coming from Georgia.
Yeah, well, Carson Beck is the reason I love this team as a college football playoff team. The favorite in the ACC that extends their position up the top of the conference. But you know what? Florida has talent fairly equal to this team. Florida is a very talented football team. The difference is the way the two quarterbacks are playing. Carson Beck's playing like a Heisman Trophy winner. He's playing like an NFL quarterback. He managed the team, plays strong. DJ Lagway, he was the answer to their future until last week. 5 interceptions. How do you overcome that? Ooh. But I think he's got to respond to it. And that's important. My dad had a quarterback, Chris Winkie. You remember Chris. He threw 6 interceptions. He threw 6 interceptions against North Carolina State when he was young, and he came off the field, and Peter Warwick said, "Hey, Chris, if you'll tell me which of their defensive backs you're throwing it to, I'll try to intercept it." But he went on to win the Heisman Trophy the next year, and I think Lagway will come through this game and have a great game. I like Florida and the points. I think Miami is too strong. I think they'll win this game, but I like the way the team likes their quarterback. He'll respond. He won't throw those interceptions. They are a very talented football team that have never been lacking of talent. So they'll give, and this has you're right, this has a lot of hatred between the two teams. This will be a close ball game.
Love this game, Coach, because I've heard, the word pretender used a lot between Illinois and Indiana, and I guess we're going to find out which one is a contender and which one is a pretender here. What do you think?
You talk about what? We talk about Illinois and
Illinois, Indiana. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were talking about. You know what? I've known Kurt Cignetti since he was a kid. His dad, Frank Cignetti, was my dad's offensive coordinator. He was my dad's head coach at West Virginia. Kurt is cocky. He's Steve Spurrier is what he is. Did you see his comments? Go Google me. I just win. Go Google me. I just win. I think that passes over to his team. Both these teams are very good. I love Luke Altmaier. I think he's the better of the two quarterbacks. But I like the versatility of Indiana offensively, running and throwing the football. And I think their defensive front's a little better and will give them problems. Kirk has the team believing they can beat people. And I'm going to go with Indiana. I think they're going to beat Illinois in a big Big Ten game and kind of get that monkey off their back of being a pretender instead of a contender.
Coach, I want you to put that coaching hat on, that whistle around your neck here. I want you to be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish head coach, 0-2 on the season. Tell me and tell my players here, how do we get back into this race for a chance to play for a national championship after opening 0-2?
Well, I would just build in them in the meeting. You've lost to two pretty good football teams. You've lost two games. You could have won. Whether you should have, you could have. Let's be 0-0. Let's play this season one game at a time and take it as it goes. Would any of y'all sit there in this meeting last year after we lost to Northern Illinois and told me we would play for the national championship? Not one of you would have said that, but you can and you will. Keep fighting. I don't think they can get in with two losses, but you never know in this crazy sport what's going to happen.
And also, Coach, let's get you. We can never not ask you about a Florida State game here. They're playing Kent State this weekend as roughly a 44.5-point favorite. As a coach, how do you get the boys up for a game when you're favored by almost 50?
Well, you probably don't have to, and you can't. My dad told me. You got to remember, I was at Akron. Kent State was our rival. These teams fought to get off the bottom of the MAC conference. But Kent State, no way. They don't have any kind of team that can play with Florida State. They'll win it. It's just a matter of how much. And don't let your players go in there and just play around the first half. Go out there, get ahead, win the game early, play your backups.
He's the legendary Coach Terry Bowden. We love having him each and every Friday right here on the early line. If you want more of Coach Bowden, you can listen to him on the Bowden Blitz right here on the SportsGrid Network with his assistant coach, Joe Lisi. Coach, thank you for the energy on a Friday. Love to see what you're doing, and we appreciate all your time here on the network, Coach. We got NFL next. Coach has got other plans today. He's ready for the weekend. Are you?
There are right now 10 teams who are 0-2. Every team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, of which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, how much fun was that last segment with Coach Terry Bowden, man? That's the information we need, getting you ready for a Sports Saturday, which includes a lot of college football and also, hint, hint, college football today right here on the SportsGrid Network. 10 a.m. tomorrow, myself and Joe Lisi counting down to kickoff every game you want to see, the big game players, the big prop bets that you need. Make sure you tune into the SportsGrid Network tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp. But before we get to that, we got to get back to the NFL, Joe Ranier. We got a lot of games to preview on Sunday to help the people get ready for their Sports Sunday. 463, 464 rotation, a 1 o'clock start. Pittsburgh, that's the Steelers, taking on the New England Patriots. The Steelers gave one away last week against the Seahawks, and you saw New England go to Miami and get a victory, their first of the season. Pittsburgh goes to New England as a 1.5-point favorite, and a total, Joe, that's up from 41.5 to 44.5. Pittsburgh looking for a bounce back. New England looking to get over 500. What gives in this one?
Well, what gives is we're getting a lot of New England money in the marketplace there, Donnie. And listen, I can't blame it. What has happened to the Steelers defense, folks? I mean, they're 29th currently in points allowed. They can't get to the quarterback. They can't stop the run. So how is that going to help you against the Patriots offense that is now going with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, and they're kind of double teaming guys? They are a mess right now, this Pittsburgh team. So yeah, New England, they can stop the run. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers there to be able to carry this team like he did against the Jets. So to me, yeah, it would be Patriots, the home dog here, a pass.
Yeah, looking at Deshaun Elliott, didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, the safety there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Derek Harmon, that first-round tackle that got injured in the preseason, limited practices on Wednesday and Thursday, but also Alex Highsmith, the other component there to TJ Watt on the opposite side, didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Joey Porter fighting that hamstring injury, no practice on Wednesday or Thursday here. We'll see what's up at that point right now. But that vaunted defense that you thought you could lean on to start the season, nowhere to be found just yet, as Joe's pointing out, and he's rightfully so on that here. To Green Bay and Cleveland, you want two good defenses? You got them in this game. That's why that total is sitting at 41.5, a favorite of over a touchdown on the road for Green Bay. Now, we did talk about like Tucker Kraft, injury. Is he going to play in this game? Already missing a wide receiver at the end, broken clavicle. Green Bay is the better team, and Flacco's an absolute statue. There's no way, shape, or form I think Cleveland's going to win this game, but I got to tell you, 41.5 is a low number, Joe. It really feels like a 24 to 14 type ball game for me, where Green Bay's defense is going to put Joe Flacco in a pretzel.
So let's see. If we just compare these two teams, offensively, Green Bay is better. Defensively, Green Bay is better. Special teams, Green Bay is better. All right, so all three facets of the game, I got one side that is clearly better than the other side. And listen, as good and Cleveland's defense is the best part of that organization, right?
Yeah.
But they just gave up 34 points to Baltimore. So what is Green Bay, who has one of the best offenses in the country? What are we doing here, Donnie? I mean, to me, this is Green Bay. If you don't want to lay the points, use Green Bay in every teaser you are thinking about doing this week and back them up that way.
Smart, because what Joe is saying is if you even watch that game game number one, they scored 16 points against a terrible Cincinnati defense. Game number two, they scored 17. No, they had a tip ball 4th down touchdown catch early in that game, and also a Dylan Gabriel touchdown in the final minutes of the game. So de facto, they scored 3 points against Baltimore last week. Good luck against Green Bay. When your quarterback is a statue and Micah Parsons is breathing down your neck, it's not going to work well for the Cleveland Browns. I agree with Joe. I don't know if I want to lay close to double digits, but if you ask me who's going to win that game, it's Green Bay is going to win that game. How about a winner in this one, Joe? New York Jets, Tyrod Taylor. Maybe a quarterback upgrade over Justin Fields, who's out with a concussion this week. Going up against Baker Mayfield. Mayfield in the Bucs looking to stay perfect here. Favored by roughly a touchdown across most outlets, and a total, Joe, of 43.5.
Yeah, well, maybe the best thing for the Jets here is that it won't be Justin Fields under center. It'll be Tyrod Taylor. Why is that? Well, because the secondary of the Tampa Bay Bucs is a little banged up and suspect to begin with. So Justin Fields wouldn't be able to pass over the top. Maybe Tyrod can do it here. If you can get 7.5, it might be worth a shot with the dog here. We know, Donnie, 2-0 versus 0-2. You know, the 0-2 teams they may not win, but they're going to stay within a number here. I might look at the Jets in this spot.
I got to tell you, like, what the Justin Fields had like 3 completions last week. Oh, that's right. He got a concussion. He was out early in the game. No, he wasn't. Like, he played well into the second half. So you might be looking at a quarterback. And if it's not a quarterback upgrade, at least it's competency that you're going to get at the quarterback position. I'm not saying the Jets win, but don't be surprised if they look actually like they could function on offense this week. More NFL talk next. It only goes down right here on the SportsGrid Network.
There are right now 10 teams who are 0-2. Every team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, in which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Like, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And like, some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'm having a tough time with this next game handicap-wise, and sometimes you get this earlier in the season. I do think the Denver Broncos are a good football team. I also think the Chargers are a very good football team. But the one thing I can't understand is home field advantage is supposed to mean something. And I do think the Chargers, from a betting landscape and a public landscape, is like, you know what? That's a really good football team. And yes, Denver's good, but they lost last week to the Colts. Now they're on the road again. How does that factor in? If we're finding 67% of the tickets coming in on the Chargers, Joe, FanDuel and DraftKings won't move off of that 2.5. I start to scratch my head and say, what am I missing in this game? A total of around 46 to 46.5, depending where you're shopping at. And you see the placard there at 45.5. So different opinions from different outlets right now. What are the expectations? Because it feels like to me like the Chargers are everybody's darling early, but not getting a lot of respect. But also at the same time, a lot of bets coming in, but the odds makers going, whoa, we don't want to move that to 3, Joe.
Yeah, no, they don't. And this is a tough spot because Bo Nix is not, he's kind of taken a step back here. His interception rate has doubled from a year ago. He's not throwing the ball down the field. Everything is play action and everything is kind of dinking and dunking right now with them. But I'll say this, the Chargers losing Khalil Mack is big because he was a big part. Joey Bosa is in Buffalo. We saw him last night, but no Khalil Mack. Them getting to the quarterback is a bit of an issue. Now, they have a tremendous secondary. We just saw that last week against Geno here. They don't allow a whole lot of balls over the top. So I don't know that Bo Nix is all of a sudden going to figure out how to go and start throwing the ball and stretching the field. So I think it's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking. And I think Los Angeles on a short week, that Denver defense is coming after him. They're not just going to sit back and let Herbert, pick them apart. So I think the under may be the best way to go here, Donnie. I think it'll be a close game, but I don't know that we're going to get I think that Denver makes the corrections from a week ago, and I think this thing is going to be about blitzing from all over the world here with these two quarterbacks. Points might be hard to come by.
Yeah, it's one of those games, like, you look at the entire slate on the card, and I love the fact that, again, that there's no bye weeks, but, like, usually a game you can find, like, a good prop bet, a good side, maybe a good total. I have nothing for this game, and it's because they're they're two bad football teams, stay away. No, they're two good football teams. I just don't understand the game plan of what's going to play out. If I was just saying reading the line, as we like to say, I probably would take the Denver Broncos because I think the line is short at 2.5, but outside of that, nothing for me in that one. 4:05 start, New Orleans and Seattle. Should be an easy victory for the Seattle Seahawks here. Sam Darnold under center, 7.5 as the favorite here, and a total low at 41.5. New Orleans, first two games at home, competitive, yes, but now going on the road a few thousand miles away up to the 12s, and they'll be passionate here. Is this a runaway victory, or is Kellen Moore's team showing a lot of might and mettle here where maybe they can stay within that touchdown range?
A lot of traveling for this Seattle team, isn't there, over the first couple of weeks. Now they're back home. Keep an eye on Zach Charbonnet. I believe he has not practiced yet, didn't practice yesterday. So we'll see if he's able to go. But if you got Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet going, I mean, they just ran right over that Pittsburgh offense. No problem there. I think this defense is legit of Seattle. So I think the Saints are going to be in trouble here. But yes, the Seahawks at home should have no problem winning this thing by double digits. But, the backdoor cover could be very alive and well at Lumen Field here in this one, because this game could be out of hand by the fourth. And we've already seen New Orleans be feisty when the game is well in hand for the other team.
Look, Rattler trying to hang around and make an NFL career. Certainly, Kellen Moore wants to be competitive in his first season, sort of set that foundation. One of those interesting games that maybe not a lot of people will be paying attention to because it gets buried at 4 o'clock, because the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears, we're not even saying these are two good football teams meeting up here. What we're saying is the entertainment value should be much higher. A total listed at 50.5 and a slight favorite towards the Dallas Cowboys, who opened up actually as an underdog here. I would not be surprised if we get a combination of 275 plus yards out of each quarterback, 2+ touchdowns out of each quarterback, and we do get those totals. But I think everybody's looking at the 50.5 go, that should be an easy over. Do you agree, Joe? We're getting points between Chicago and Dallas.
I listen, I don't know it makes any sense for Chicago to try to get into a shootout with the Cowboys. They can't. Dak Prescott will beat Caleb Williams in that kind of game all day. So they might not have a choice, Chicago, because if I'm Dallas, I'm going to go up tempo. I'm going to take advantage of that, what I just saw Detroit do to that Chicago defense here. Can they patch up the holes here? Either which way, I don't think Chicago controls the tempo of this game. I think Dallas does. Would not shock me, Donnie, if we are going way over the total, especially in that first half before adjustments are made. I will go ahead and back the first half over as well.
Yeah, fire up Roma Dunze, fire up CeeDee Lamb in this game. We'll see what happens, because I do think those guys are going to be running wide open for good portion. Hey, knock, knock, knock. Colston Loveland, are you home? Would you like to participate here as a first-round draft pick in this game? And Ben Johnson, can you use them? We'll find out more on Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Sunday Night Football. This is an interesting one because, hey, look at this. Two teams coming into the game. What would their records be? Well, probably 2-0 and maybe 0-2. How about both of these teams? 0-2 on Sunday Night Football, and the Chiefs, who never cover spreads, are favored between 5.5 and 6.5, depending on where you're shopping at. In the total, that's listed at around 44.5. Can the Giants shock the nation by picking up their first win? But that won't even be the most shocking part. It would be that the Chiefs would open the season 0-3. That can't happen, can it?
No, and it won't happen. And let's not pretend like it will happen here. I think Kansas City, I think Isaiah Pacheco they're going to get this running game going. The Giants not only have some issues in pass coverage that we saw last week, Donnie, there, but they also rank last in rush yards allowed here for running plays. So they're not stopping anybody. They're certainly not jamming anybody at the line of scrimmage. And I think Kansas City, who's better play caller than Andy Reid? He's going to pick apart, and Mahomes is going to pick apart both the run defense and that secondary of the Giants, I think Kansas City lets out some frustration in a blowout.
Let's see what happens. And also, let me just check that practice report here. Let's go to Kansas City quickly because I just want to see that wide receiver situation. Xavier Worthy, Wednesday and Thursday, Joe. Limited participant here. That would be a big boost, even if he's out there as a decoy to try to open up that offense. And Travis Kelce, hey, when the ball's thrown to you at the 1 yard line, you catch it. You don't bobble it. You score in the end zone as opposed to a touchdown basically going the other way for the Philadelphia Eagles. Monday Night Football. We'll talk about this game a lot Monday, but it still needs to be previewed. Detroit and Baltimore. The NFL got this one right. We want to watch this game because why? Both of these teams are 1-1, but they're a lot of fun. The highest total of the week, 52.5, and a favorite at 5.5 for the Baltimore Ravens, Joe. Goff, Jackson, love that this is going to be our Monday night game for Monday.
I do too, and it's also the highest total on the board, right? And with good reason. Both these teams will have no issue if they're down 2 scores to be throwing it and moving the ball all over the place. I think the Lions defense is a little bit better here than what the Ravens have brought to the table here, certainly when it comes to stopping the run. So I do think Baltimore, though, at home, they come up with big plays at big moments here. I don't understand the spread, but I do think the total might be a tad high here for this one. So I'd look to go under it and go contrarian.
I'll tell you, too, what could be one of the differentiating factors is what's going to happen. These teams are going to pass up field goals. Both of these coaches are ultra-aggressive here, particularly with Dan Campbell. So you're trying to set the stage. So does passing up to 3 to get 7 actually cash those tickets? Or that doesn't mean like 4th and 2s, you don't get it. You just gave 3 points away at that point, and then it's a long field on the opposite end. That's what I'm looking forward to. But an awesome Sunday slate in the NFL. Sunday night game with a lot of intrigue with basically 2 bad football teams, which you are what your record says you are, between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Giants. But then that Monday night banger to come out of the woodwork. For me, Joe, as an Eagles fan, I'm loving the fact that they get the Rams at a 1 o'clock start this Sunday as maybe the game of the weekend. So a lot to look forward to. But you know what's still going on right now? Come on now, Major League Baseball. Let's get some handicaps out there for the people. That's what's coming up next right here on the Early Line.
There are right now 10 teams who are 0-2. Every team on this list is 0-2. These are the 7 teams through 2 weeks who have already been eliminated from the Super Bowl picture. First, the Cleveland Browns, who I believe were the worst team coming into this season. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely done.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Josh Heupel. I mean, please, dude, you got to be kidding me. How do you lose this game at home when you've got Georgia on the ropes with a iffy quarterback at best there in Gunnard, and you somehow figure out a way to lose that game? A game, Donnie, of which was pretty much in hand for Notre Dame, 3/4 of it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Short segment here to talk some Major League Baseball. So we want to get to some of these games that really matter at this point and have some angles on the postseason. We're going to start at 6:40 p.m. Eastern, 9:01, 9:02. That's the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. You saw yesterday the Reds at home, a great pitching performance by Hunter Green. Imanaga will be on the mound for the Chicago Cubs today, going up against Nick Lodolo. A slight favorite towards the Cubs in a total that's listed at 8.5 across the board. The Reds desperate for every single victory that they can get to try to make a wild card playoff spot. When the Cubs look like they're already locked in, won't be able to win that division. What happens today for the Cubs and the Reds, in your opinion?
Well, they're going to have to get some. They're going to have to give Lodolo here an opportunity to play from in front, and they are in a battle here with the Mets for that final wild card spot. So they're going to need to bring some offense. The Reds. They scored, again, one run there, which was hysterical, Donnie. Just one run, but that usually means they've got a 9, 10, or 11 run game somewhere coming up. But I don't quite trust either offense here. I think the total under 8.5 here. I think the public's going to want to push it up and over at the Great American Small Park. I think under might be the better way to go. The Cubs, not a lot to play for. The Reds, they could get a little tense here tonight and maybe not score as many as they should.
And by the way, over the summer, you might have been paying attention to the Detroit Tigers. Like, yeah, of course they're going to win the division. They'll be in the playoffs, maybe even the favorites to win the World Series or at least the American League. And if you haven't been paying attention, man, there is a free fall going on in Detroit where that lead is down to 3.5 games because, one, Cleveland won't lose, and two, Cleveland kept on beating the Detroit Tigers. Well, today, Atlanta's going to take the field. They're just playing spoiler right now. And Elder's really a bad pitcher, but not lately at this point. He's actually been on his P's and Q's. Charlie Morton gets the start for the Tigers. And this goes to show you, Morton is at home with the Tigers in first place at a -120 price. The pressure is starting to build for the Tigers. They need to bounce back in the biggest way, but I don't have a lot of confidence in them right now, Joe.
Well, you can't. They can't hit. They're back to that. The starting pitching, I mean, if you can't win Skubal starts or Flaherty starts or my starts, which you didn't, you get swept by the Guardians. Oh, yeah, by the way, you've got the Braves who would love to play spoiler the rest of the way. This is their last homestand, Donnie. You know who they have after this? The Cleveland Guardians for 3 games in Cleveland. So you think maybe they're tightening up a little bit? I mean, Charlie Morton hasn't gone more than 4 innings in any of his last 3 starts. He's walking guys. He's 100 years old. And you mentioned it, though. You got to love Bryce Elder. He had 4 quality starts in a row, and then he got shellacked against Houston last time out. So which version do we get here tonight for Atlanta? Can't trust Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Can't trust them here. Also, Arizona on their last legs in life support here to try to make an NL wildcard spot. The Phillies, as we know, have clinched the playoffs, have clinched their division, but still trying to track down the Brewers. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Taijuan Walker's on the mound. Sometimes he is hit or miss, but Ryan Nelson, interesting choice here for the Diamondbacks. He's been very good at home this season, and you look at them as a slight favorite over the Philadelphia Phillies at a -120 price and a number listed between 9 and 9.5. I do think that's the right side and the right team that's favored here with Arizona. And I'm a big-time Phillies fan. I'll root for the Phillies, hope they win. I just think the Diamondbacks might be the better play tonight out there in the desert, Joe.
Yeah, and we could see a Walker Buehler piggyback start here with Walker. It sounds like the Phillies might be mixing and matching their way through the end of the regular season. You know, Arizona's using a 4-man rotation right now. They have been for the last couple of weeks, just they're using their 4 best guys in order to be able to try to win as many games as possible. I do give the edge to Arizona at home with a whole lot more to play for, and they certainly have an advantage on the hill here between Walker and Buehler, who is what may very well be a combination that not a lot of Philly fans are going to love here.
Yeah, let's see if the bats come to play tonight for the Snakes and see if they can win and try to hang around that playoff race for at least another day. Another team looking to hang around the playoff race is the Giants. They lost last night to the Los Angeles Dodgers. We thought that game would stay under, and it stayed way under. But tonight, maybe some history. Clayton Kershaw's last start for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are a favorite at close to a -162 here to -168 to -175, depending where you're shopping. And by the way, that number jumped from a -136. Is this nostalgic betting that we're getting going against Robbie Ray, where Robbie Ray just stinks, and everyone's like, yeah, he stinks. I'm betting on the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, Kershaw has played 18 Major League Baseball season, 60 starts, I believe, alone against the Giants. 27-16, I believe, is his record. He has dominated them in his career. And boy, oh boy, is it going to be electric there with this announcement coming out yesterday. So, hey, I got no problem. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's owned him his career. He's probably going to own him one more time before it's all said and done.
And you know what? I love this. I love this for one reason here, where the player himself is like, well, I could just retire like when it's all said and done. I had enough. No, the fans want to see you there. Get the emotion out there. It's not a game where it's like, oh, if we lose, I can't believe we just started Clayton Kershaw because he wanted his moment. It's the perfect night to do that against your hated division rival. The people will show up, whether he goes 5 innings, 2 innings, 6 innings, bad performance or great performance. I love the fact that it's like, you know what? Clayton's hanging him up at the end of the season. I got to get out there and see him pitch tonight. You're going to get big-time ratings out there for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Minnesota and Cleveland. Now, we just talked about Detroit collapsing. The team helping them collapse is Cleveland. Now, what you can't do, Joe, is handle your business against the Tigers, then go lose to a Minnesota team that's dead in the water and Pablo Lopez on the mound. But however, Messick's on the mound for Cleveland. It's a pick'em game. Come on, Cleveland. We need to see some action in the final week of the season with a possible massive collapse for the Tigers. Can they do it tonight?
Well, the only team worse than the Tigers down the stretch has been the Twins. I mean, they've lost 12 of their last 16 games this month here, Donnie. It is not good, but, nothing to lose. Young guys playing. The Guardians, though, red hot here. It's kind of hard to go against them. Even with Lopez on the mound, still give the Guardians the leg up here against that bullpen of Minnesota in this game as well.
Wouldn't that be something? By the way, we just saw one of those type of series. Like, hey, look at the upstart Rangers. They can take down the Astros. They got swept. Like, yeah, it was a fun season. Have a good time. I need to see Cleveland play well this weekend. Detroit slip up and be like, you know what? If Cleveland takes 2 out of 3 from Detroit next week, they're actually going to win the division. Unbelievable. Crazy. But as they say, that's baseball. One more segment to go next. Best bets are on the way.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL season with about 750,000 downloads. Really interesting when you look at the 3rd and the 4th spot. You have Bet365 and Fanatics, which were, again, that first week, they were the only sports books that grew. The good news for the other sports books in terms of downloads this week is even when you take out Fanatics and Bet365, app downloads still grew about 20% across the board overall.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Everything you needed today, we hit. That's how we do it on the early line. We set the table so you have everything in order for the rest of your SportsGrid day. How to watch, have an opinion, and certainly, hopefully, how to make some money here. Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri. But this is part of the program that we like to reach out to the public and ask them a question and get feedback on what they actually think. Here's our Fade the Public poll. It's a Friday. You're waiting for the weekend. We get it. But of course, NFL usually dominates our shows, but there is some great college action tomorrow on a Saturday. So if you go to @SportsGrid on X, our account, give it a follow, you could have answered this question this morning. And hopefully you did already. What Week 4 college football matchup are you most excited for? That was Texas Tech versus Utah, Alabama, Oklahoma, Illinois, Indiana, and the University of Florida versus Miami. For me, I voted UF Miami. I just think it's going to have excitement. I think Miami's going to win the football game. I'm a Hurricanes fan, and away we go. But the leader in the clubhouse, Joe, is Auburn and Oklahoma. How about that?
Yeah, a little revenge game, right? Jackson Arnold there, revenge opportunity against Auburn. But I voted the other way. I was just saying this, that Indiana and Illinois might be the biggest game nobody saw coming because it's the first time that these two teams are playing one another as ranked teams. They're both ranked here, and we are going to figure out a lot on both these teams this week. With all that returning production, is Illinois really, can we really consider them up there with the Oregons and Michigans, Ohio States? And same thing with Indiana. Is Cignetti, is this all smoke and mirrors? We are going to figure this out here this weekend. I think that's a huge game for both programs.
Love to see it. College football. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. College football today. Your boy Donnie Rightside, along with Joe Lisi, carrying you right up through kickoff. But now's the time of the show that the people love. On a hot streak, back-to-back 2-0 nights on Best Bets. Here's Bye. Sling it, Joe. Sling it, Joe. What do we got tonight? Where are we looking to go?
What, Donnie? Listen, if it ain't broke, we're not going to fix it here. I think you got a couple of things going on. One, I love this pitching matchup between Boston and Tampa here today. Boston offensively a little bit challenged lately here, Donnie. Once they lost Roman Anthony, it's kind of fallen to pieces. Runs are hard to come by. They got to go to Tampa now and take on Rasmussen. They're in a battle here with the Yankees to try and at least maintain that third wild card spot here or even catch them. Feels like this is going to be a tough one. When you got Crochet on the mound, I'm not trusting Tampa to get a ton of runs. And with Rasmussen on the mound, I'm not trusting the Red Sox to get a ton of runs. So to me, Donnie, this is all about an under 70.5. Both these teams could be pressing a little here with both of their number one guys on the mound tonight. I'm looking at the under here.
Under 7.5 for Joe. For me, I'm going to go out to the deserts, and I'm taking the Snakes. Now, wait a second, Donnie. You love the Phillies. You can't. Come on now. When money is more important than fandom, I can root on the Philadelphia Phillies, but you can still have the correct side. I'm taking the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight on the money line as a slight favorite at -120. You take a look at Ryan Nelson on the season at home. 75 in the third innings pitched, Joe. How about his ERA to 2.51? Now, I don't love ERA, but most people look at that as a baseline metric. How about his xFIP number? Very manageable, 3.63. What we typically get out of a performance of a Taijuan Walker is your best guess. I know I'm going to probably get a solid performance out of Ryan Nelson. I'm going to ride the Diamondbacks, who are fighting everything they can to make it into a wild card, which I probably don't think they're going to get. But the Phillies have clinched. They're probably settling into their number 2 seed in the NL. I'm going to take the Snakes over my beloved Philadelphia Phillies on the money line tonight. Look at that, Joe. No bias. Sometimes you got to bet against your favorite team. It's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have, it's so funny, right? You got Taijuan Walker going there. You got Walker Buehler probably coming in right after that. So right now, the Phillies are just trying to eat up as many innings as possible, Donnie, and get to the postseason. So Arizona at home with Nelson on the mound, I think that's a great bet at that price.
Going to baseball, there's still money to be had. And think about it next week, right? The final week of the Major League Baseball season. And I know we just started, but where did the time go? Like, where did April, May, June, July, August, and September already up here as we take on playoff baseball, which is going to be great. And this is going to be your home, certainly, on the early line to talk about playoff baseball when those day wild card games start to creep in. Oh, what a time to be alive and watch the SportsGrid Network. We hope you enjoyed this week. We hope you enjoyed a Football Friday, covered everything. Tom Vecchio joined us today. Coach Terry Bowden tomorrow. We kick off college football with CFT. Lovely time to be around. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri and everybody behind the scenes that makes us look great right here on the early line of the SportsGrid Network. We'll see you bright and early on Monday morning. See ya.